Let's begin lesson 6 on page 142. We've already done all the usual things, started Photoshop, restoring the default preferences, changing to a lighter interface, changing my pop-up window to current tool, and I've opened up 06start.psd and saved it as 06working.psd, and done a Control-0 to fit in window. Let's get to selecting by making a mask. I'll do select, select, and mask, and that takes us into select and mask mode. There's an onion skin, a semi-transparent onion skin. I'm going to take my transparency up a little bit. I find it a little easier to see. I'm going to take mine up to about 50%. Our quick selection tool is selected. I'm going to go ahead and set my brush size to 15 with 100% hardness. Enter. So I will use my quick selection tool to make a selection. I'll click and drag, and you don't have to do this all at once. You don't have to do it perfectly, that's for sure. I'm just going to click and drag. Try, if you can, not to drag outside of the model onto the background. Just try to get hair and face and so on. And I'm doing this a little bit at a time. That way, if I don't quite get what I want, I can always go back and Control-Z, undo and redo. Missed a little spot here. Quick selection here. Get her arm and the back of the dress. So I don't have a perfect selection yet, but it's a good start. Selection often comes in pieces. So we've done the broad strokes. Now we'll go and fine tune it. Come up here to the view mode in the properties area, and I'll change my view. I'll come down and choose overlay. Now we see a red background indicating the part that's not selected. I will zoom in here to get a closer look to see the things that I missed. There's a few places here. I'm going to do Control+ to increase my zoom. Did that a couple of times. And now I'll use my trick where I hold down the space bar to get the hand tool so I can navigate to the place I want. You can see I missed a little piece of the dress here. So I'll click inside there, quick selection tool. Scan to see if I missed anything else. So far, so good. We have some problems with the hair. We'll fix that in a moment. Let's change our view to be on layers. You can see what this will look like when we're done. You can see the model in front and the background in the back. Gives you an idea of how it's going to look. Clearly, this hair is a problem. Selecting hair is always a challenge. We're going to refine the mask to fix that. We will use the Refine Edge Brush tool, this guy right here, and we'll come and set a brush hardness of 100% and size of 20px. Let me remind you about the shortcut keys. The bracket key increases the brush size, and shift bracket increases the brush hardness. That'll be helpful in this lesson when we're changing brush sizes to be able to use those shortcut keys. So brackets for decreasing and increasing size, and shift brackets for decreasing and increasing hardness. I will go back to overlay mode so I can see the pieces that I'm missing. Now I can see the red overlay indicating what I'm missing on the hair, using my Refine Edge brush tool to try to paint back and select some of that hair. Click and drag in here as well, try to get back some of those missing strands of hair. I use my space bar, move down a little bit, try to get some more. Let's go a little further down again, space bar. You can see that this area did not get properly masked. I have some of the background showing through here. We'll fix that again with a Refine Edge brush. I'm going to change my size to 15px and 100% hardness. I'll do that by just hitting the left bracket key one time. That takes me down to 15 hardness. Paint in here with this brush. Now I removed some of that background from the selection. Let's get a different view. I'm going to do Control-0 to zoom out, and I'll change my view here to black and white. That gives you an idea of exactly what is selected. And you can see in here the fine hairs have been selected fairly well. I'm going to do a little bit more fine tuning. I'm going to change my view now to on layers, again, so I can see the model and the background together. Now I'll go and zoom in so I can get a closer look at what needs to be fixed. Control+ to zoom in. We will use some of our global refinements to try to tighten up that selection a little bit, I'm going to change my smoothing, and the exact smoothing you need will depend on your selection. I'm going to more or less match the settings of the book, so I'll smooth that out to about 5 smoothness, change my contrast to about 20%, and finally I'm going to shift my edge, bring the edge in just a little bit on that selection by taking it down to roughly, again, -15. So we'll have a look around. Again, I'll use my space bar with the hand tool, keep my magnification 200%, and I can move around a little bit and take a look at the selection on the edges. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. You could probably clean it up here with a quick mask a little bit. You could probably clean this area up as well, but for now, this will do. I'll do Control-0 to fill the screen. I'll zoom in one more time. Hit Control+2 times to zoom in and take a look around the edges. I'm going to come down and click on Output Settings and Decontaminate Colors, and that brings back some of the hair. Also gets rid of the color cast that might have been around the edges of the model. Control-0 to fit in window one more time, take one last look, and then hit OK. Point out that what has been done is we've made a copy of the model layer with a mask on it. The original model layer is untouched and now made no longer visible. So we're only working on the model copy layer. Let's save that work.